Wait! Before we start, do you want a bundle of 30 printable English PDF cheat sheets? Teaching you words and phrases for conversations for free? Then click the link in the description and sign up for a free lifetime account to get access.
Welcome to Daily English Conversations. In this series, you'll learn practical English phrases for use on social media and in everyday life. TGIF, checking out the new restaurant in Capitol Hill.
Have a nice meal! Enjoy! Oh, I'm so jealous, working all weekend.
I've heard that it's a bit on the expensive side. Let's review the key vocabulary.
Jealous. Feeling of envy toward someone or their achievements.
Meal.
Food that is eaten usually as breakfast or lunch or dinner.
To check out.
To look at something and examine it.
Enjoy. To have a good time.
The expensive side. More expensive than average. Let's review the key vocabulary. Do you remember how to say,
Feeling of envy toward someone or their achievements. Jealous. Jealous.
and how to say,
Food that is eaten usually as breakfast or lunch or dinner.
Meal. Meal.
what about,
To look at something and examine it.
To check out. To check out.
let's try,
To have a good time. Enjoy. Enjoy.
now let's see if you remember how to say, more expensive than average. The expensive side. The expensive side. Let's practice. After the sound, read the phrases out loud. Ready? TGIF, checking out the new restaurant in Capitol Hill.
Have a nice meal! Enjoy! Oh, I'm so jealous, working all weekend.
I've heard that it's a bit on the expensive side.
Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about reflexive pronouns. Let's get started. Okay, first let's explain, what is a reflexive pronoun? So, reflexive pronouns are pronouns used when the subject and the object of a verb are the same person or the same thing. So, you probably already know some reflexive pronouns. Let's take a look at this list of pronouns. So first, we have our subject pronouns. These are the words that we use when these people or objects are the subject of our sentence. So we have I, you, we, they, he, she, and it. These subject words all have matching reflexive pronouns. So we use these in a couple of different situations, but today I want to focus on using these words as pairs when the verb in the sentence is being done by this person and affects this person. So let's take a look at the pairs and then we'll look at some example sentences. So first, when our subject is I, the reflexive pronoun is myself. When the subject is you, we have two pronouns we can choose from, actually. When we have the singular you, meaning you, just one person, we use yourself. If we're talking about you as more than one person, we use yourselves as the reflexive pronoun. We'll see an example of this later. Next, when our subject pronoun is we, The reflexive pronoun is ourselves, ourselves. Next, we have they, and the reflexive pronoun is themselves. Next, we have he, a reflexive pronoun, himself, she, herself, and it, itself. So all of these pronouns are maybe commonly used words, and we use them in other situations too. But for today's lesson, we're going to practice using them together around the same verb. I want to make one point very, very quickly before we move on to these example sentences, though. That's about this point in red. One very common use of reflexive pronouns that I'm not going to talk about in depth today is this use. We can also use reflexive pronouns for emphasis reasons. So in this situation, when we use these pronouns for emphasis purposes, we typically follow the original, the subject here, in this case I, in the first example, directly with the relative pronoun. So this example sentence is, I myself disagree with that opinion. I myself disagree with that opinion. So this is an example of a sentence pattern that's used to really emphasize that it's just me. I am the only person that disagrees with that opinion. So this is used for emphasis. Let's look at one more example of this use, and then we'll move on to the focus of today's lesson. The manager herself will attend the meeting. The manager herself will attend the meeting. So in this sentence, you'll notice I have herself here, used here, this reflexive pronoun, yeah? But here I have the manager. So I just said, okay, well, this is a pair, right? You might see situations where the gender of the person is not specified in the subject. So we don't say she or he, but instead we use a job title or a position. So in this case, the manager in the situation is a woman, and we're using it directly after the subject. The manager herself will attend the meeting. So in this situation, we're emphasizing the manager is going to attend. We want to kind of give some sort of special emphasis or show that this is a special situation. So you may see these pronouns used in this way, but this is not the focus for today's lesson. I want to focus now on using these as pairs around a verb. So let's take a look at how we use these two words together. The first example is one of my favorite examples to use to practice this grammar point. I hit myself in the face. I hit myself in the face. So what does this sentence mean? This sentence uses the verb hit or to punch something, right? So maybe most of us have had the experience, unfortunately, of maybe trying to pull a blanket or do something, and on accident, not on purpose, you hit yourself in the face. So in this situation, and we'll see in all the other sentences, the person doing the action is me. So I hit myself. So this shows us the person doing the action and the person receiving the action are the same person. This is what we use reflexive pronouns to do. So in this situation, a funny one, but relatable, I hit myself in the face. Okay, let's look at a different subject. You should pat yourself on the back. You should pat yourself on the back. So to pat yourself on the back means you should congratulate yourself. So this motion, to pat yourself on the back, this is a kind of expression that we use to say you should feel proud of yourself or you should feel good about yourself. So in this situation, we have this reflexive pronoun used. You is the subject, one person. You should pat yourself on the back. So again, the subject and the person receiving the action are the same person. You should pat yourself on the back. So meaning you should feel proud of yourself. So another very positive expression that you can use. Okay, let's look at you again, but in this situation, we're going to look at the plural you. So I mentioned earlier that we can use you in two forms with reflexive pronouns. We can use you yourself for one person and you yourselves for more than one person. So let's take a look at this. Here, wow, did you design your home yourselves? So, wow, did you design your home yourselves? This is formatted as a question. So someone is maybe visiting your house and they want to ask you and the person you live with, wow, did you, meaning more than one person, did you design your home yourselves? So this person is asking, were you, the person who is also the subject of this question, and the person who did the action, the same person? Did you design your home yourselves? It looks great. So we can use you with a plural reflexive pronoun. That's the key point to keep in mind here. Singular is yourself, plural is yourselves. Okay, let's move along to the next example. We bought ourselves a TV. We bought ourselves a TV. So in this sentence, we have our we subject, our verb is bought, and we have ourselves as the object. So think of this in like a gift-giving situation. When you buy something for someone else, this sentence takes on a different pattern, right? I bought something for my friend, right? Or I bought my friend something, right? The person who receives the item comes after bought. But in this case, we want to say we bought something for ourselves. So we are the receiver and we are the person that bought, or we are the people that bought that thing. So we can use this to talk about purchases that we make for ourselves, if it's we, if more than one person, or if it's just one person, you can say, I bought myself a new TV. So this is a very common use of this reflexive pronoun. Okay, let's look at our next one. The next one is kind of a sports style sentence. They positioned themselves on the football field. They positioned themselves on the football field. So this sentence, they positioned themselves, means like the players in the game. So the football players, they are the subject, they are the people doing it, and they're also the people kind of receiving this action. So the people are in charge of it and they are affected by this action. They positioned themselves on the football field. Okay, the next example uses he. So he's teaching himself how to cook. He's teaching himself how to cook. This pattern is a very, very helpful one. The subject is teaching and pronoun, how to something. So you can use this to talk about things that you are teaching yourself to do as well. In this sentence, you'll notice the grammar is a little bit different. Here we're using a progressive grammar form. He is teaching himself how to cook. This shows it's an ongoing action. So in this case, he is the subject, he is the person, and he is the person that is the teacher, and he is also the learner. That's what this communicates. So teacher and learner are the same person. We have this in this expression. He's teaching himself how to cook. If you want to use this to talk about something that you are teaching yourself to do, you can say, I'm teaching myself how to whatever. I'm teaching myself how to speak English, for example. Okay, let's take a look at the next example sentence. She locked herself out of her car. She locked herself out of her car. Another very common situation. So in this case, we have she as our subject, and then locked. So in this case, we have to lock a car, meaning to close the car with the key. So we cannot go inside. And then herself. She locked herself out. So this particular expression, to lock out of something, means that we are unable to get into something, and it's our own fault. So this expression means that she was the person who locked the car, and she's affected because she cannot get in the car as well. That's what this means. She locked herself out of her car. We can also use this with houses, apartments, and so on. I locked myself out of my apartment. He locked himself out of his house. So this is a very common expression that we use to talk about this situation, where it's your fault. You are the person who locked the car or locked the home, and you are the person affected by the situation. Okay, let's look at our last example. The last example uses an object. So the lamp turned itself on when we got home. The lamp turned itself on when we got home. So maybe you remember at the beginning of this lesson, I mentioned we use it as the subject here. So this it can take different forms. We can also replace it with the specific object here. So in this case, the lamp is it. So it's not a he or a she, it's an object. So we can replace it with an object in this case and still follow the it itself reflexive pronoun rule. So in this case, the lamp turned itself on when we got home. So again, in this situation, the lamp is the actor here, and the lamp turned itself on. So this is something that we use. This kind of pattern is something we use for home electronics, like the computer turned itself on, or my phone turned itself on. This means I didn't do anything. the machine acted alone. So we can use this to talk about like actions that are kind of mysterious with machines, and we can also use it, perhaps in a case like this, to talk about something that's motion activated, or maybe that has a timer set, and so on. So when you want to talk about machines or lighting in your house, these kinds of things that can do things by themselves, like we don't have to hit the switch or do any kind of settings, we can talk about those things with the object turned itself on. We can also do the opposite. The object turned itself off. But the key here is that we're using it turned itself. So again, that reflexive pronoun is used to show that these two things, the subject and the object, are affected by the same verb, or they're acting together with the verb. Okay, so this is a quick introduction to reflexive pronouns and how we use them. These are actually very, very commonly used in everyday speech, and they're also very helpful for talking about these kinds of interesting experiences where the subject and the object of a verb are the same. So I hope that this lesson was helpful for you and you found some new ways to express these ideas. So if this lesson was helpful for you, please, please, please don't forget to send a comment. And of course, if you want to practice making some example sentences, feel free to do so in the comment section as well. If you like this lesson, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Also, check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this lesson, and I will see you again soon. Bye! Hi everybody, welcome back to Know Your Verbs. My name is Alicia, and in this episode, we're going to talk about the verb stay. Let's get started. Let's start with the basic definition of the verb stay. The basic definition of stay is to remain in a place or situation. Some examples. We're staying at a beach house. She stayed in that job for 4 years. Now let's look at the conjugations for this verb. Present, stay, stays. Past, stayed. Past participle, stayed. Progressive, staying. Now let's talk about some additional meanings for this verb. The first additional meaning is to continue to do something or to continue a condition. Some examples. Our supermarket stays open until midnight. I'm so tired, I can barely stay awake. So this use of stay doesn't refer to a location, not a place, but actually a condition, or that something is continuing, some state is continuing. In the first example sentence, we see stays open. The supermarket stays open until midnight. That means the condition of open, the status of open. So like a business is open, we can go to that business. That status, that condition, continues until midnight. So the supermarket stays open is how we communicate that naturally. In the second example sentence, we see, I can barely stay awake. I can barely stay awake. So here, the condition is awake. So awake means not asleep. So our eyes are open, we are doing things, we are awake. So when we say, I can barely stay awake, it means it's really difficult for me to continue being awake. It's really difficult for me to keep my eyes open because I'm really tired. So to stay in this way refers to a continued situation or a continued state. The second additional meaning is to live in a place for a short time as a visitor. Examples. I'm staying in Sao Paulo for 3 days. He always stays at the same hotel in Dubai. So this use of stay refers to when we stop in a city or we stop in a country and we're there for a short period of time. So we don't use this for long periods. Like we don't use this when we're living in a country. We use stay to talk about short trips, short visits to a specific place. When we want to talk about the place where we live, we do not use stay. We use the verb live to describe that. When we're traveling somewhere, however, we use this verb to talk about either the city or the country where we're planning to visit, or we use it to talk about the type of accommodation. So this could be like a hotel, an Airbnb, an inn, a motel. So you can use it to talk about the type of accommodation as well. In the first example sentence, we see a city. I'm staying in Sao Paulo for 3 days. So that means that's a short-term visit, a 3-day visit, so we can use stay to describe that. In the second example sentence, it's about accommodations. So he always stays in the same hotel in Dubai. So that means the type of accommodation. So we use it to talk about that short-term visit. So you can use this when you travel. Let's move along to some variations with this verb. The first variation is to stay out of something. This means to refrain from being involved in something. Let's look at some examples. Stay out of this argument. She was smart to stay out of the debate. Okay, so to stay out of something means to not be included in something, but we choose not to be included in something. The first example sentence, though, is actually a command. Stay out of this argument. So that's probably like a piece of advice, or it could be a command, I suppose. But stay out of this is usually like kind of a forceful or a rather strong expression we can use to say, don't participate, don't get involved in this. There could be a number of reasons for that. But to stay out of something means to refrain from trying to participate in something. In the second example sentence, she was smart to stay out of the debate. It means she was smart to not try to participate in the debate. So we use this for situations that it might be uncomfortable to participate in, or it might be really challenging to participate in. So the first example sentence is an argument, so it's probably an uncomfortable situation. That's why the command stay out of this argument might be used. In the second example sentence, it could be a really sensitive debate or a difficult discussion, so we could say she was smart to stay out of that. So it kind of has this feeling of maybe a difficult, challenging, or an uncomfortable situation that you want to avoid for some reason. So to stay out of something. The next variation is to stay in. To stay in. This means to remain in one's home. Let's look at some examples. Let's stay in and watch a movie. Thanks for the invitation, but I'm going to stay in tonight. So this stay in, we can consider this stay in as the opposite of go out. So when we have like a weekend or a holiday, we typically have like two choices. We can stay in our homes or we can go out of our homes and do something else out there. So when we say I'm going to stay in, it means I'm not going to go out and do anything. We commonly use this as an excuse for not doing something. So I'm going to stay in tonight. Let's stay in and watch a movie. It means let's stay at home. Let's go home and watch a movie. Or maybe if you are at home, you can say let's stay here. Let's stay in and watch a movie. The second example sentence is a great example of how this is commonly used. Thanks for the invitation, but I'm gonna stay in tonight. That means that's my plan. My plan is to stay in my home. In other words, I'm not going to go out. I'm going to stay inside my home tonight. Let's move along to the next variation. The next variation is to stay over. To stay over. This means to stay at someone else's house. Some examples. You can stay over at our house tonight. Can we stay over? So to stay over refers to spending the night at someone else's house. It might be easier for you to remember stay over if you think of this as stay over the night or stay overnight. So it usually means one night only. So if, for example, the weather is really terrible and it becomes dangerous to drive on a road, you might use the second example sentence, like, can we stay over? Like, the weather has gotten terrible. Can we stay over? So you might make like a request like this to stay at a friend's house or to stay at someone's house. Children actually use this a lot. So when you're in maybe elementary school or perhaps junior high school, you may want to stay over at a friend's house. So friends maybe stay over at one another's houses. Kids play together, stay up late, watch movies, whatever. So we use stay over to talk about just that one kind of like friendly stay, like people stay just for one night. We don't use this for hotels, really. You might hear this used when people are talking about like taking a road trip, like moving quickly from city to city, like I'm going to stay over in city A, then move to city B, stay over in city C, perhaps, I suppose. But we tend to use this more when we're talking about sleeping at a friend's house for one night. Okay, so I hope that you found a new way of using the verb stay. Actually, there are a lot more ways to use this verb. There are a lot of phrasal verbs that involve stay. So if you have some questions or if you want to learn more, please check out a dictionary. I highly recommend that. Of course, if you have questions or comments or want to practice making an example sentence, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. Also, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe to our channel if you have not already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Know Your Verbs, and we'll see you again soon. Bye! Hi everybody, welcome back to Know Your Verbs. My name is Alicia, and in this lesson, we're going to talk about the verb give. Let's get started. Let's begin with the basic definition of the verb give. The basic definition of give is to provide someone with something, or to offer someone something. Some examples. My boss gave me a raise. Please give her this letter. Now let's look at the conjugations for this verb. Present, give, gives. Past, gave. Past participle, given. Progressive, giving. Now let's talk about some additional meanings for this verb. The first additional meaning is to cause something or create something. Let's look at some examples. Scary movies give him nightmares. You just gave me a great idea. So this use of give doesn't refer to providing someone with something. It refers to causing something or producing, creating something. In the first example sentence, we see scary movies give him nightmares. Another way to say this is scary movies cause him to have nightmares, or rather, watching scary movies causes him to have nightmares. So there's this thing, in this case scary movies, which causes this other thing or produces this other thing. So we use give to explain that relationship. The second example sentence is the same. You just gave me a great idea. It doesn't mean someone provided someone else with a great idea, but rather this use of give means you just caused me to have a great idea. It's kind of like you helped me to make this great idea. So we use this when someone maybe makes an interesting comment or has an interesting suggestion, and that creates a new idea. That creates a new thought. So you can say, you just gave me a great idea to express that. The next additional meaning is to do an action. Let's look at some examples. Can you give me a call when you finish work? That girl is giving us a weird look. All right, so I said that the definition for this one is to do an action. It sounds quite open, but actually there are some common sort of set phrases that we use give with. So some examples of this are in these example sentences, like give me a call. Can you please give me a call when you finish work? Or that girl is giving us a weird look. So it doesn't mean, again, that someone is providing something to another person. It just means that that action or that situation is happening or has happened. So please give me a call means please call me, in other words. Or that girl is giving us a weird look means that girl is looking at us in a weird way. So to give something means that that thing, that noun phrase in many cases, is happening. So to give a something, to give someone a something might be a pattern that you encounter, which can refer to just doing an action. So some other examples might be like to give someone a push, to give someone a hand is another example, which means like to help someone. To give someone a hand means like to assist someone. So give me a boost is another example, like means help me move in an upward motion. So if you see this give me a something or give something a something, it might be this kind of perform an action sort of meaning. The next additional meaning is to loosen or become relaxed under pressure. Some examples. Be careful, the wall looks like it's going to give. The bridge gave under the weight of all the cars. So this use of give is related to pressure and related to like stretching or breaking or loosening or relaxing in some way. The first example sentence is about a wall. The wall looks like it's going to give. So imagine a situation where you're leaning against a wall, maybe on a construction site or in an old building, for example. If you're leaning against a wall, an old wall, and someone says the wall looks like it's going to give, it's like the wall appears to be about to break. So this, if the wall is perfect in this situation and a person puts pressure on the wall breaks. We use this give to talk about this happening. So the wall gave. The wall looks like it's about to give, so that means it's going to give. That's how we would express this sort of thing. We could use break. We could say the wall looks like it's going to break or maybe fall, but give is another way to express that. The second example sentence shows us a similar situation. This time it's with a bridge, and we see the past tense use of this verb. So in this case, the bridge gave under the weight of the cars means the bridge broke, or the bridge maybe was damaged because there were so many cars. So here, the bridge gave is in past tense, which refers to the bridge kind of like losing its structure because of the weight of cars. So if you see the word give paired with something like construction, building, infrastructure related, it might be related to this meaning. We don't only use it, We don't use it only with construction or buildings, however. We can use it for fabrics as well. So like a shirt, for example, or something that stretches easily. So we can use give to talk about that kind of relaxing or like stretching of materials. So keep an eye out for this when you're reading. Okay, let's move along now to some variations with this verb. Let's look at the first variation. The first variation is to give up. To give up. There are two meanings to give up. Let's look at the first one. To give up means to stop trying. Some examples. Give up. She's never going to go on a date with you. We gave up trying to plan a summer party. So both of these examples show situations where someone should or maybe will stop trying to do something. So in the first example sentence, give up, she's never going to go on a date with you means stop trying. So stop trying to convince this girl to go on a date with you. Give up. The second example sentence, we gave up trying to plan a summer party means we stopped trying to plan this thing. We stopped trying to make it happen. Okay, now let's look at the second meaning of give up. The second meaning of give up is to stop using something, to stop using something. Some examples. I'm trying to give up cigarettes. She gave up sugar last year. So to give up here means to stop using something. We use this for bad habits often, or maybe unhealthy things. The first example sentence, I'm trying to give up cigarettes, means I'm trying to stop smoking cigarettes. The second example sentence, she gave up sugar last year, means she stopped using sugar or she stopped eating sugar last year. So when you see give up before like something unhealthy or maybe a bad habit, it probably means that that person is trying to stop using that thing. If you see it used as a command, as in the first definition, it probably means that that person should stop trying to do something. So these are the two meanings of give up: to stop trying to do something and to stop using something. The next variation is to give up on somebody or something. This means to stop making an effort, to expect that something will not have a good result. Some examples. I'm giving up on my business idea. Don't give up on your studies. So to give up on something means to stop making an effort for something, and it's because you expect the result is not going to be a good result. So please be careful. To give up on something is different from to give up something. So we talked about to give up in the first variation. This to give up on something means that you have kind of a negative expectation and you're going to stop trying to do something. In the first example sentence, I'm giving up on my business idea. It means I'm going to stop working on this idea because I don't think it's going to end well. I don't think it's going to be a positive thing. It's not going to be good. I don't expect a good result. I'm going to give up on my business idea. The second example sentence was, don't give up on your studies. Don't give up on your studies means don't stop trying to study. So in other words, keep trying to make an effort for something because it will be good in the future. Don't give up on your studies is how we can communicate that. So we can use don't before this expression to kind of give words of encouragement to something. Don't give up on this thing means continue working on this thing. So perhaps that's something many of you can think about. Don't give up on your studies. In other words, please continue your studies. The next variation is to give in. This means to finally agree to something after a long time. Some examples. He gave in and bought his kids a dog. I'll keep asking him out until he gives in. So to give in to something means to finally agree to do something, usually after a long period of being requested or a long period of being asked for something. The first example sentence is about a dog, a father buying a dog for his kids. He gave in and bought his kids a dog shows us that the father in this situation has been asked repeatedly, probably for a long time, for a dog. We know this because we see gave in, past tense. He gave in and bought his kids a dog. So when we use give in or gave in, as in past tense here, it shows us that there has been a history of requests prior to the action. So if you want to show that someone finally did something, you can use give in to express that. The second example sentence is a present tense statement though. I'll keep asking him out until he gives in. That means I'm going to continue asking this person out on a date until he finally agrees to go on a date with me, until he finally gives in. So we're looking for that agreement there. So when you want to really emphasize a lot of requests and that you finally convince someone to do something, you can use give in to express that. All right, so I hope that you found a new way of using give with this lesson. Of course, there are lots of other ways to use give, so please check out a dictionary for some more information. If you have questions or comments or want to practice making an example sentence with this verb, please feel free to do so in the comment section of this video. Also, if you liked the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you have not already, and check us out at EnglishClass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Know Your Verbs, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. We see this in the same, the second example, okay. Want to easily remember new vocab and phrases? Fact. Everyone, beginners and advanced learners alike, forgets new words the first time they learn them. So what's the secret to remembering? What do smart learners do? They note them down and review them later. And you can do this with our study tool called the Word Bank, your extended brain for language learning. And in this video, you'll discover 1. How to save keywords and phrases, 2. How to review the words so that you never forget them, and 3. How to create your own printable vocabulary worksheets. But first, if you don't yet have access to this tool and our lessons, just click the link down in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account right now. First, what is the Word Bank? The Word Bank is a premium study tool, and it's your personal language database where you can save new words and phrases with a single click, review them all in one spot, and never forget them. Think of it as your extended brain for language learning. Look for the Word Bank in the vocabulary drop-down menu on the site, or inside the menu in our app. So, how do you take full advantage of this powerful study tool? 2. How to save keywords and phrases. If you're taking a lesson and want to save key vocab, simply go to the vocabulary section. Select the words you'd like to save and click on Add to Word Bank. If you're using the core word list, like the 2,000 most common words, or the vocabulary lists, select the words, go to Add Selected Words, and click on Word Bank. Now, the words and phrases are saved in your Word Bank, and you can even organize the entries with labels like adjectives, verbs, or phrases. 3. How to review the words. Once you save the words to your word bank, you can easily see all of them, all in one spot. With every word or phrase, you get the audio pronunciation, the translation, and even the related lessons where they're introduced. That way, you can review the words one by one. If you'd like to study words with flashcards, just click on Sync to Flashcard Deck. This will create a flashcard deck of your word bank entries for you to study. 4. How to create your own printable vocabulary worksheets. If you want to have physical worksheets and practice writing the words on paper, then click on Printer-Friendly Version and print out your word bank entries. You can even export your word bank as PDF, CSV, or XML files. Remember, you can use this powerful feature with flashcards, lessons, and vocab lists, so take advantage right now. Save new words and phrases to your word bank with a single click. Review them all in one spot and never forget them with the word bank feature. But if you don't yet have access, sign up for a free lifetime account right now. Just click the link in the description to get your free lifetime account. Now that you're finished with this lesson, don't forget, as a free bonus, you get over 30 conversation cheat sheets, but only if you sign up via the link in the description. You'll learn how to have flowing conversations and how to answer the most common questions. You can also print out these colorful cheat sheets to keep as physical study material. So don't miss out on this free gift. Click the link in the description and sign up for a free lifetime account to get your PDF cheat sheets.